Dennis Daugaard came from humble roots with a heart to serve others. This was never more evident than in the many ways he has served South Dakota. As executive director of the Children's Home Society, Dennis increased the endowment from $1 million to nearly $40 million and helped the organization strengthen without incurring debt. In 2010, Dennis ran for governor, winning by the largest margin in state history. In his 2 terms as governor of South Dakota, Dennis eliminated a $127 million budget deficit without raising taxes and achieved budget surpluses each of the next 7 years. He improved education, increased teacher pay in South Dakota, promoted improvement in state infrastructure, and established the Good Earth State Park. South Dakota is a stronger state thanks to Dennis's leadership.
See the excitement in your faces. The room is electric with anticipation. Daugaard restricted to 5 minutes. Laura, Sarah, and Chris are taking bets. Can Dad do it? Can he do it? It reminds me of a story. When South Dakota was still part of Dakota territory, a horse thief had been sentenced to hang, and the governor thought, oh, there'll be a crowd, I'd better be there. On the day of the hanging, they led the condemned man to the scaffold and asked him, do you have any last words? He thought a minute and then answered, no. The governor jumped in and said, well, I always enjoy giving a speech. Do you mind if I say a few words? It's okay with me, said the horse thief. Just please hang me first. So I hope you feel a little bit more anticipation. Let me begin with thanks. To Dr. Milt Much, thank you for initiating my nomination. And to Tony Van Huysen, thank you for writing it. Many thanks to Linda Mickelson Graham and to John Thune and Dusty Johnson for their letters of support. Dusty, you choked me up when I read your letter. I'm also grateful to friends and family for being here tonight. My 3 children and their spouses, my grandchildren, my sister Joyce and her husband George, Linda's sisters, and most importantly, of course, Linda. I wish my parents were here. Dad died 18 years ago and Mom 10 years before that. Mom was born severely deaf and Dad profoundly deaf. They couldn't hear their 3 children, but Mom and Dad worked hard, taught us, guided us, and loved us. And their kindness and humility were beyond compare. Whatever redeeming qualities I may have, I owe them to my parents. Fred Tully and Rick Weber and Michelle Lavallee are here tonight from Children's Home Society. I'm 69 years old, and I spent about a quarter of my life working at Children's Home or volunteering there. I was so lucky to be a part of it. I started on the board and then quit my bank job and joined the staff, giving tours and writing grants, recruiting board members, appealing to donors, and driving thousands and thousands of miles. In the early days, I also vacuumed carpets, loaded dirty dishes, urged kids to hurry up, read to them, ate with them, walked them to school, and later cried when I read about their backgrounds. I like to think that I helped Children's Home, but I'm absolutely sure Children's Home helped me be a better person. You know, most people know me because I was in government. Linda and I were at Dugan's Appliance in Sioux Falls recently, and a salesman there recognized me. He said, I know you, you're Mayor Paul Tenhaken. Sorry, Paul. I spent 6 years as a state senator, 8 more as lieutenant governor, and then still 8 more as governor, and it was a wonderful privilege and a great experience. Many here in this audience supported Linda and me, and our chance to serve came because of it, because of you. The cabinet and staff members were so dedicated. Some of the cabinet and staff are here tonight, or were here last night. So dedicated and hardworking, and we became such great friends. And we all tried hard to be good stewards of your trust in us. And I hope we left South Dakota a little bit better than we found her. Thanks for giving us a chance to serve you. I started out tonight with words of appreciation, and I'll conclude with them too. Of all people, I owe the most to Linda. She and I met in 8th grade. We dated through high school, and then we went our separate ways for a while before getting back together 41 years ago. She's been my best friend, my most fervent supporter, and I owe her so much. Linda and I were at a picnic once talking to a guy named Dave, and he said that when Linda was at SDSU, he thought Linda was hot. I could tell Linda felt complimented and appreciated, and I thought I need to do better at appreciating her. So that night when Linda and I were alone, I said, Linda, honey, I know I don't always show my appreciation the way I should. I don't express it as often as I should, but I love you, and I know I'm lucky that you married me. She said, that's right, if I'd married Dave, he'd be governor now. So, thank you very much.